Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelby and today I'm doing a really exciting collab video with my friend Melissa over at Melissa H. And we decided to team up to bring you guys some sports romance recommendations. I love Melissa's channel and if you guys don't already watch her, you definitely should. She reads so many amazing romances, but she also reads fantasy if you guys like that genre. I will link her video as well as her channel down below. Definitely go check her out. She is such a sweetheart and I highly recommend you guys subscribing to her. And like I said, we are going to be recommending some sports romances. I have over 5 to talk about. I will link them all down below and let's get right into it. The first book I have to recommend is actually a duet, and that is the Him and Us Duet by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. I know this duet gets a lot of hype, but it's for very good reason. It's an amazing pair of new adult romances, and this is about two childhood friends named Wes and Jamie. They went to hockey camp together when they were growing up, and I think their last summer at hockey camp, they kissed and kind of hooked up, and it made their friendship a little uncomfortable, and now it's been years and they haven't seen each other, and I believe one is just graduated college and one is still in college, and they end up back together at this camp, basically being hockey coaches for the kids that are at the camp, and they're back together rooming in the same cabin, and of course a romance ensues between them. And this book is amazing. It is everything you could want in a romance. It is super steamy, it's about hockey, and it's a friends to lovers romance, and it's also a little bit taboo because they were working together and they are friends. This duet is so good and I could not recommend it more. And then the next book I have to recommend is actually from the spin-off series from the Him and Us Duet, and that is Good Boy, also by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. This is the first book in the WAG series. This is about Blake and Jess, and Jess is Jamie's sister and Blake is Wes's teammate on his hockey team, and now they are attending a wedding together, and of course when they get back together at this wedding they hook up again. They kind of hate each other but also just really enjoy each other and have a lot of sexual chemistry. And Jess is really trying to figure out her life. She's tried several different careers and she hasn't really picked one, but Jess has finally decided that she wants to become a nurse, but unfortunately in the US nursing school is super expensive, so she decides to move to Canada, to Toronto specifically, to go to nursing school where it is definitely more affordable. And it just so happens that's where Blake lives and that's where his team is, and it's their romance and it's really fun. It had a lot of humor to it and it doesn't have a lot of unnecessary conflict, which I like. So again, if you're looking for some really good steamy sports romances, I would think the Him and Us Duet as well as Good Boy are really good options. And then my next recommendation is actually a whole series, but my favorite out of the series is definitely book number 1. And the series is called Mavericks Tackle Love by Max Monroe, and this follows several different players on this New York Mavericks football team. The first book is called Wildcat, and this is about the quarterback named Quinn Bailey, and he ends up taking all these flights back home to visit his family, I think somewhere in the South, and he ends up meeting this flight attendant and becomes smitten with her, and he keeps taking these flights back and forth specifically when she is working just to get her attention, and it is their romance, and I absolutely loved this one, and like I said, it is my favorite in the series. The next book in the series is PickSix, which is about the player Sean Phillips. He is the total bad boy and player on the team. He's always hooking up with women and kind of doesn't take life too seriously, but that's until he meets Six Malone, who is the woman hired to work temporarily for the team. She is a UCAM vlogger, but she gets hired to do this like video series of the team, and she's having to spend time with the team, and it is their romance, and she definitely pushes his buttons and she doesn't take his crap, and I really liked her personality. So if you like a strong heroine, I think you'd really like this one. The third book is called Trick Play, and this is about the player Cam Mitchell. He ends up going to a strip club for some event, and he meets this woman at the strip club, and it turns out she's an undercover cop. So he thinks he's falling for a waitress there, but really she is an undercover cop, I think trying to bust some kind of sex ring at this strip club, and it's their romance, really good, and I really liked the heroine, how she was an undercover cop. I thought that was super unique. And then the last book in the series is Fourth and Girl, and this is about Leo Landry, who I think is the rookie on the team. So he's the newest star player, and he ends up meeting our heroine Gemma when he's giving his sample for drug testing, and she ends up spilling his sample everywhere, and they have this really funny exchange, but he never gets her number, and so he doesn't really know how to find her, and it turns out she got fired from that job because of that incident, so she gets another job, and it turns out to be with Leo's grandma, who is a really funny lady, and she sets the two of them up, and it is their romance, really cute, really funny, and overall I would just highly recommend this series. The next book I have to recommend is a standalone, and that is The Wrong Game by Candy Steiner, and this is about a woman named Gemma who she discovers that her husband has been cheating on her, but unfortunately before she discovers that, she bought season tickets for her and her husband So when they're no longer together, she's left with these 2 season tickets and she needs people to go with. So her and her friend create this plan that she's going to go on like a Tinder app and find dates for these games. But the bartender, Zach, overhears her plan and offers to go as her date and kind of be her test date. But of course, he ends up becoming smitten with her and he wants to go on all the dates with her, not just the first one. And it is their romance. And I really loved this romance and I really liked their chemistry together. And Candy Steiner is one of my absolute favorite romance authors. And I think you guys would love this one, especially during football season because it has so much of that in there. So I hope you guys really love this one just as much as I did. The last recommendation I have is one that just came out, and that is The Dugout by Megan Quinn. And this is a baseball romance at this university, so it's a new adult romance as well. This is about our hero Carson, who is meant to go to the major leagues with all of his teammates, but unfortunately right before his senior year, he gets a sports injury and he's now left behind while all of his friends end up going to the major leagues. And he's left behind to play with his college team, but ever since he hasn't been able to play really well and he just isn't being himself and kind of overall really grumpy with life. And in walks in a sports medicine student named Millie, and she's obsessed with baseball. Her brothers are now in the major leagues and she likes to coach it, but no one takes her really seriously because she's a woman and usually coaches are men. And she's been studying all the players at her college's team, and one of them is Carson. So she offers to help Carson basically improve his game, and he takes her up on the offer and they become friends. And of course, it's their romance. It's really good, and if you really like baseball, I think you would like this one because it is a little more heavy on the baseball terminology. But this series by Megan Quinn is really good for a baseball sports romance, and I think you guys would really enjoy it. So those are all the sports romance recommendations I have for you guys today. Like I said, I will link Melissa's video and channel down below. I will also link all of these books so you can check them out yourselves. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next one. Bye.